Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the show. This episode is brought to you by The Wellness Paradigm, a holistic health coaching company shifting the way that women understand and heal their bodies. Through bioenergetic testing, functional lab testing, and functional nutrition, we uncover what traditional approaches often overlook, so you can stop guessing, start healing, and finally feel like yourself again. No more one-size-fits-all protocols, just real answers, deep-rooted healing, and the clarity and confidence you deserve to feel incredible. It's time to shift the paradigm of women's health. Now, on to our show. Good morning. I am so excited to have Dr. Brady and I guess Leandra um,
Yes.
on the show. And we already had fun before recording, but we're gonna have even more fun recording. We have so many beautiful golden nuggets to share with you guys. But she is a medical intuitive, former chiropractor and author whose work blends intuitive intelligence with network spinal energetic healing. And after 15 years in practice, she now guides others to move beyond symptom chasing by creating the conditions for true healing. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Very excited.
Yes. So I would love for you to get into, first of all, a little more on who you are, because it's a lot more
Yeah.
dense than just that one or two sentences, and also how you got into the specific line of work.
So I have been a chiropractor and in chiropractic. Well, I've been in chiropractic since I was 7, so for like over 30 years. But I started studying chiropractic, got into it. I was a very mechanistic chiropractor, like, okay, your neck hurts, we're going to look at your neck. And the more I got into practice, the more I started to realize that like it wasn't people's like symptoms that were the problem, right? It's especially when I after I'd had my second baby and I decided I wanted a better there was a time I thought I would just want to be an associate, just live a quiet country doctor life. And I went and I took an associateship and I actually took over from someone who had retired. And I started seeing these people who'd been coming in for like 20, 30 years. And they're like, I just get a crack here and
Mhm.
then I'm on good for a month, right? And so I was like, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand why, like, don't you want to understand why that thing keeps going every single month, like for the, like, for all of your life? And so what it led me to do was study network spinal. Now, I never wanted to study network spinal, which is hilarious because it is now such a huge part of my personality. But my husband said, "Hey, we've got to study something. Why don't we go do this?" And I'd seen it at university, and I was like, "That's ridiculous. I don't want to do it." And you'll see a lot of it now on social media. It's like a lot of like those people when they touch them and then they like move around. And back in the olden days, that's what it looked like, right? But now it's a lot more refined and a lot more nuanced and like really like the consciousness has evolved. So we went to this network spinal seminar and I had the most incredible experience. And I pretty much walked into my job the next day and said, I quit this, I've got to do this, right? So
Mm.
that was 6 or 7 years ago. And the more I did network spinal and the more I was like into the intuition and stuff, I started realizing like I was really good at it, right? Like not just like, oh yeah, this is good, like, but I was really good at it. And I'm like, all right, this is interesting. And I started doing things even further than network spinal. And I'm like, what is this? Like, how do I know things about people? Like, how can I touch someone and be like, well, I can tell you everything about your life, right? And I can understand things. And like, I could like, just look at people and be like, hey, I think you need to get this tested. And I think this is going on. And so what that led me to now then study intuitive intelligence. And I now work for the Intuitive Intelligence University and I teach with them. And I mean, that's by the by. I now teach intuition to people. But I got into this and I started to realize that like what was happening wasn't special, right? Like every single person is intuitive, right? It's like it's our birthright. It is the way that we have evolved as humans, but nobody trains it,
No.
right? Like and people go, oh, no, 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 I'm not intuitive. And I hear people say it to me all the time. Oh, my sister's intuitive. Oh, I go to this psychic. She's intuitive, but I don't have that special gift. And that's bullshit because, oh, can I swear? I'm sorry. I'm
No,
Australian and I'm a little sweary. You'll have to
go
put
for
an
it.
explicit, you'll have to put an explicit, there's always an explicit warning on
I
my
actually, there is explicit on the just in case people cuss. By all means, I like
Okay.
it.
So, yeah, like it's a bullshit belief system that
Mhm.
only certain people have intuition, right? So this is not, again, like I said, this is not like woo-woo kind of new age stuff. This is based in science. I am a scientist. I went to university. I have 3 university degrees. I was never going to go into anything that was like shove a crystal up your vagina and it'll solve everything, right? That was just not my jam. So when I started looking into this and I started studying with the with the Institute of Intuitive Intelligence, and I started working with them and realizing like biologically every single person is connected, right? This is how we had to evolve as humans. So, if one person started getting really upset and, because there was a tiger coming, every single person in the tribe would also feel it, right? And that allowed us to survive. And the more intuitive of us survived better than the ones who were less intuitive, right? The more connected we were because we'd be able to run away from the tiger quick enough, right? So when I started understanding this and I started realizing this and I started seeing that that is how I was able to see these things, I realized that it's also the way that I could start helping people heal themselves as well, right? That interconnectedness of everything.
Mhm.
And what I believe now is that why we're so sick, right, is because we're so separated, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, that's the base. That's a very basic overview of where I got to where I am. But yeah, it was the fact that like I just saw people doing all the right things, like everything right, eating well, exercising, and yet they were still so sick, so
Mhm.
stressed out, right? There was just, and I was like, there's got to be something more than that. And what's more than that is like, you know, we're energetically sick. Like chiropractic, D.D. Palmer, the guy who started it, he said like that chiropractic was about reuniting man the spiritual with man the physical.
Mhm.
So everyone goes to a chiropractor for a sore back, but we should be going to them for a sore soul, right?
Mhm.
So we're spiritually sick.
Mhm. Oh yeah. I mean, I know I've gone to a chiropractor for a long time. I went to like 5 different chiropractors who just crack pop for a long time. I have a ankylosing spondylitis. So I know, fun. And none of it helped. I never felt better, right? Until I found my current chiropractor, who is also an applied kinesiologist. And what worked was asking the body really what it needed, doing a few just adjustments because there was a lot of physical, but then he would run emotional things. He would do many different other things that actually tapped into a lot deeper of what was going on. And that was the only way that I actually felt a little bit better from adjustments, in and of themselves. So like I experienced that firsthand too. And now we were jamming about this, but now I do bioenergetic work and it's like trying to explain people who are, so resistant to energy work that this is like the basis of who we are. This is rooted in
Mm,
quantum physics. This is rooted in science. All of this is not in the ether woo-woo. Like this is actually who we are in our literal beings is energy.
yeah,
It's just tapping into that, but we're so disenchanted with the fact that like physical, but the pain is physical. It can't be the fact that this energy moving through me is going to heal me because my pain is here, right?
yeah,
And I think that's so hard to kind of shift and change someone's mindset around, right? Because when they realize that, I'm sure people working with you, I know certainly people working with me, it's like their whole life gets better, right?
yeah.
Like healing gets expedited. They feel so much better. If they're willing to step into a different way of not only thinking, but, doing, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the body is the tool of the intuition, right? We are like primarily energetic beings. And we know this because when we look at an atom, right? An atom is 99.999% space. It's ether, right? It's energy. You've only got around about, zero, so it's 0.0001%, which is actually physical, right? And the only reason that we are so obsessed with the physical is because we are vibrating at a lower frequency. So we seem solid, right? But we're not. Like, so you've got to think about also that we like this 99.999%, like it repeats in different areas. So the same, the physical body is only a small amount of who we are. We are primarily energetic. Our energetic bodies, like we have been able to measure them, and you are able to measure it easily, like an arm's width outside of your body. But the only reason we can only measure it an arm's width outside is because that is what the limit is of the measuring equipment,
Hmm.
right? So that's not actually how large we are. It's just that's how far the energy equipment can measure. But we are most likely much, much bigger than that, right? This energetic, like, part of us is massive. It's huge, right? And what I have started to see is that when we see physical symptoms in the body, it is only because it has started in the energetic system and it's been there for so long that it's just become denser and denser and denser, and then it manifests in the physical body. So when we are symptom chasing and we're like, oh my gosh, this thing really hurts and I really need to like look at this, we're missing the whole point. We're only taking a small, tiny bit of
Mhm.
why that's there, you know? So,
Mhm.
the heart disease, the brain fog, like it didn't start in the physical body. It started in the energetics,
Mhm.
right? Because like I said, I've seen too many people who have got all these external conditions right. They're exercising and drinking their green juices and whatever, and yet the internal conditions are not right. You're drinking your green juice and your body still thinks that this is poison because energetically, the energetic signature that's hanging about
Mhm.
is not conducive to healing.
Mhm. Oh, every day. Like I see that obviously being in this holistic health space. That's what transitioned me from getting more into, being a primarily health coach trainer, realizing, something's missing, thinking I went into holistic health, thinking, deep diving into functional lab testing was it. And I
Yeah.
love it. Don't get me wrong, it is very insightful. And you are missing still the essence of who that person is. And I feel like sometimes functional health has turned into medical just with supplements, and it's like we miss the whole energetic being of who we are. So when we run scans, we pick up energetic signatures. And oftentimes, yeah, sure, we can see a parasite, we can see, heavy metals, whatever it is, gut dysbiosis, whatever's going on. And that's still not the root. It's all the emotional stuff that's trapped underneath that we can still see and how this has been lingering for so long. And it's like blows people's minds when it's like, wait a minute. So that parasite wasn't the actual parasite. It was the fact you have parasitic people in your life, that are sucking all your life out of you. And that's why you can't get rid of it. And then it keeps coming back, right? But that's very difficult to understand because it's like we want so badly to find the thing. This is the reason I'm having the stomach pain. It's the reason I'm having the hormone issues. It's the reason I'm having whatever. It's the weight loss, the brain fog, the headaches, right? And it's like
Yeah.
it's all interconnected, right? Which is
Yeah.
difficult because we're taught more allopathic. I go to this doctor when I have this problem. I go to this doctor and they go this, you know what I mean? And that's not look at
Yeah.
the body holistically, right?
Well, I mean, if you think about it, right? So one of the things I talk a lot about is archetypal patterns, right? And like that's the way that energies would move, right? So when I talk about archetypal patterns, I'm not talking about your dead grandmother that I'm channeling. I'm talking about the fact that humans understand patterns of energy, right? And you can see them everywhere. So we see them in storytelling, we see them everywhere, right? But like, so medicine is performing an archetypal pattern, right? And it's this archetypal pattern, and this is actually a theme I'm talking about in my fourth book, which I'm writing, not the third book, which is coming out, but the fourth book, which we're talking about, like, collective wounding and collective healing. But this is an archetypal pattern with medicine, right? And allopathy, which is that, I'm the doctor, you're the patient, and I will give you something from the outside to fix whatever is going on, right? And this is just all it is a way that we can separate, we can be away from the earth, we can be away from each other, like, and we separate from our bodies as well. So our body isn't, we don't see it as us, we see it as this machine that's not working properly, right? And we do this in a way, look, there are many, many reasons for this, but it is a symptom of a bigger problem. So when people come to me and say, oh my God, my doctor didn't find out, didn't do this and stuff, I always tell them, I'm like, it's not the doctor's problem. This person is not, they're not a bad person. What they're doing is they are operating in an archetypal pattern, right?
Mhm.
It's the same thing with parasitic people in your life. They are not bad people. They are operating in an archetypal pattern. And when we start to understand that archetypes are energies, the way that we like work with people, the way that we work in like in a system and in a community, that is actually where the healing is, right? It's not in, oh yes, I need to take this tablet and it'll fix me, because that's more disconnection, right? Like the healing is in the connection. The healing is in creating the conditions of connection and love and support within ourselves and within the systems around us. So yeah, so I always tell people, it's like, yeah, those 5 other chiropractors you saw, definitely not bad chiropractors at all. They were working within an archetypal pattern of, you have a sore neck. I will, that's what I've been taught. There's
Mhm.
this hero, villain, victim. I will save you from the poor. You poor you. You are a victim of your pain, and I, the hero, will come and save you because this awful villain of cancer or back pain. And it's like, we're fighting all the time instead of understanding that the body is a community. The body is whatever symptom you're getting, it's a symptom of something bigger and something deeper. And you know what? People don't want to buy into this because it does mean that as an individual, you simultaneously are responsible and simultaneously not responsible. So it's like, and you have a bigger responsibility. It's not just me, I have to take my tablets. It's I have to own my behaviors. I have to own what systems I am, like what systems of oppression I'm in. I have to own my role in a bigger thing. And that is terrifying for people. So it's much easier to be like, oh my gosh, you're right, I'm just a victim. I'm
No.
just a victim of this. And please, doctor, save me from it, instead of being like, oh my gosh, all the systems we live in are broken. And my body this is a symptom of a sick, suffering world, and I'm connected to all of it. And what can I do within me to create the conditions of a better world to then heal myself and heal the conditions around me? That is a much harder question. And that is one that most people don't want to ask themselves.
Mm-mm. No,
Hard pill to swallow, but hey.
it is. But you can keep swallowing more and more pills or face that. I mean, that, and for the record, they have their time and place, right? It's not that,
Then, oh yeah.
obviously. But I think it's very hard to face shadows. It's hard to face things that you don't want to face and hard to take that accountability that we are responsible in some aspects to our body. And it's the most powerful thing because we can take that power back,
Yeah.
right? And when I think people learn that and understand that, maybe not even learn it, but actually feel it in their body.
Yes,
Right.
embody it
Body it.
as a feeling. You're right. And this is so important because you're right. There's something you just hit on there about so in our society, we have a problem of hyper individualism,
Mhm.
right? It's like I am the be all and end all. I spend a little bit of time on social media, mainly to find TikTok reels that I can recreate myself and like look at the trends. But otherwise, I've been noticing some really like toxic trends and stuff, and like things like you know, like things like hauls with to do with like our makeup and dressing and things, and then all this stuff about like this person's eating this many calories and this person, and if you put peanut butter on your smoothie, then that's really bad. Like you know what I mean? And there's this hyper individualism and this idea that like every little single thing you do will change everything, right? And it's all about you and all about these choices you make, right? When really we do live in societies of like it's really hard. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're American, right? You're American.
Mhm.
And America is going through a very interesting time. Like,
Yeah.
the whole world is in a recession. There's credit crunches, like the world is dying. There's climate change, right? And we need to, one, understand that, holy shit, life is really hard for a lot of people, right? There's like, children dying and, people can't afford bread and, people like families living on the street. Like that is hard. And it is really, really hard to live in the world right now. So to gaslight people into thinking that like, oh, just be high vibe. Don't worry about it. Like, it's okay. Just, buy some more peanut butter and do a like Sheen haul and you'll be fine. Do you know what I mean? That is like gaslighting people into like thinking that, oh, it's something wrong with me. I'm the problem because I can't just like high vibe and get away from that, It's like, no, you are allowed to understand that the world is really fucked up at the moment and that is going to have a toll on our health, right? So that's number one. So we have to understand that because you're right. It is not just as easy as it's fine. I'll just take more magnesium and I'll be fine, right? And number two, we also have to go like, instead of saying, yes, the world is fucked up and I give up, it's like, yeah, the world is fucked up, but what is it that I can work on,
Yep.
right? Like what is in my control? And it's not about spiritually gaslighting, and it's not about, pretending, and it's not about buying something to alleviate it, but it's about really taking radical responsibility for what we can do.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the work that I do. The work that I do is unbinding all of these stories and all of this stuff that sits in your energetic field so that you have energy available to do what you can do. So you can start to it's not again, if you're fighting for your life and you can't buy bread, you're probably not going to write an email to a senator about, hey, what really concerns me is this. You don't have the energy for that. But if we can unbind some energy and, change a whole bunch of stuff, then you have the energy to make changes. So you can take radical responsibility for what can I control? And you can always control your internal environment, right? You can always control how much more peace can I bring to myself? How much more, how much nicer can I be to my kids? I think it was Mother Teresa who said, again, a questionable, problematic figure, but she said, good quote, she said, you want to change the world, you go home and you love your family. Like there are so many little things we can do that can ripple out. So it's not, yes, the world is fucked up, but we shouldn't let that, we shouldn't let that kill us. We should just acknowledge it and go, yeah, that's what's happening. And yet, and yes, and that's Ariana Grande who says that. But yes, and yes, that's there. We don't want to discount that and discount what that is doing to our bodies, what that's doing to our energy, because we are all connected. And, if one person suffers, we all suffer, right? But at the same time, we also need to, it's the paradox of what can I do? When I heal myself, I'm not just healing myself, right? I'm healing the entire world. When I am nice to this person, when I, can find the energy to, buy this product over this product. Do you know what I mean? Like the little ways we can change the world, the little ways we can liberate our energy and our healing. They're the huge things. But yeah, if you are gaslighting yourself into thinking that you are separate from everybody else and that buying more shit is going to make you feel better and heal you, I'm sorry, but the amount of supplements I see on the internet, I'm like, oh my God, I just need to buy soursop supplement and it will change everything. I get sucked into it too, but it's distracting you from the real thing, which is the world is dying and suffering. And so you will be dying and suffering too, because you are a part of it, right? And again, that's quantum physics, right? Quantum entanglement tells us that I love quantum entanglement. The newest science is showing that even two separate particles from separate, you know what I'm talking about, separate atoms, particles from separate atoms will still react to each other. So that's how I am able to tap into what someone's doing. And that is how you are able to heal the world and how the world is about to affect you, because we are all connected, right? So yeah, energetic healing is not woo-woo, oh my gosh, I'll pick a tarot card. It is grounded in quantum physics. But yeah, you are simultaneously a part of the world, and we need to take responsibility for where do we play into these things, right? Are you buying a Starbucks every day, even though you know that they're not the nicest company, right? That is going to do something to you more than just whatever the shit is in the drink. You know what I mean? So again, I often say to people, you could eat cardboard, but if you believed and understood that that cardboard was so good for you, I don't ever tell people to actually eat cardboard, but you know what I mean? Like where are these things coming from energetically? We have to think about that, because we are such a sick society, and yet we have information, we have great food, do you know what I mean? And yet people are so ill. And I think this is it. So it's how do we create the conditions within us? And once we create the conditions within us, how can that then ripple out into the world? So I'm all about collective healing. We don't just heal for ourselves, we heal for everyone. And we do that from creating the conditions within us, right? And this is, like you said, parasitic people are in your life, What are you allowing to happen? What emotions are you suppressing, right? Have you been angry for a really long time and just pretend that everything's fine? There's no amount of chia seeds that's going to allow that to move through you. You're going to have to do a lot more work than that.
Shoving coffee up your butt ain't gonna get that away for good, That's a coffee enema, in case anybody's
No,
wondering.
not.
That's what that means. But yeah, I mean that's so true, right? And I think there's also this, I remember hearing this, the powerful word of duality, right? It's like you can, so many people too are empathetic, like so highly empathetic. And my
Yeah.
empathetic clients are almost always to some of the sickest, right? Is we carry so much weight, but then we can't process it. You know what I mean? And it's like gets stored in our body, but you know, when people hear this, where it's like, well, there's so much going on in the world, suddenly I'm going to be sad, and that's how I'm going to live my life too. It's like you can have this beautiful duality of there's a lot going on in the world, especially in the last few months here in the States, right? You know, and I can choose to be really happy, really grateful, very present, whatever it is, too. And that is how we also heal, too, is like having this power, or somebody pisses you off, something happened at work, whatever. You can make that may mean a story. You can make that mean something your entire week, change you, or it could be like, that really sucked. I really didn't like that. And I'm choosing to operate in a different way. And,
Yeah.
I can go on with my day too. So that power of duality, I think is just also really powerful.
Yeah, and you make some really great points there about yes, like the world is suffering, right? But if you are privileged enough, there's nothing wrong with being privileged, right? People, there's a whole thing about being privileged at the moment. But if you are privileged enough to not be in that situation, then it kind of is your duty to not take on that, right? Because like you suffering just adds more suffering. But
Yeah.
you choosing to heal that suffering and be like, I will take that and I will transmute that energy into something else, right? I'm not going to sit here and just be sad on the couch because the world is dying. Yeah. But I have the privilege to be able to do something. Like it might not be economic privilege, but you might have the privilege of like your legs. Do you know what I mean? So you might choose that, oh, I'm not going to take the car today. I'm just going to walk down to the shops. That is a choice of privilege. That is a huge like help to the world. And that is how you can use your privilege to help and to heal yourself and to heal the world. And the second thing is empathy. Like everyone's empathetic, right? I used to have a lot of clients who were like, I identify as an empath. And I'm like, yeah, you're not special, Carol. Like that's the way we work, right? So if you are using that as a badge of honor of I can't go out in the world because I'm so empathetic, it's like, you know what? Get the fuck up. That is not, we are all empathetic, but what you choose to do with it, that is discernment, right? So if you want to sit on the couch and be really sad and I can't deal with the world, that is not. So I have a tattoo on my arm. It says anthropos. Anthropos is fully human, fully divine, right? We are here to be fully human, fully divine. If you want to sit in your divinity and not do anything and not participate in human, that's fine, but you can't hang out with me, right? We are fully human, fully divine. We are doing all the things. I am not priestess on the mountaintop, goddess away from everything because everything's too hard for me. Like I am in the fucking world doing the fucking work, Like, yes, shit come at me. It's okay because I do the inner work to make sure that whatever comes at me, I can transmute that, I can change that. And you know what? If the energy doesn't change, and if things are just too hard for me, it's also my divine right to say, there's nothing wrong with you, but I don't need to hang out with you,
Mhm.
right? A lot of women I know, they're so good, right? They're empathetic, they do all the work, and they stay in shitty relationships
Yeah.
because they can do the work. It's like,
Hmm.
yeah, I know he's really shit, but it's okay. I can take all that energy and I can use all my tapping and my goddess crystals and I just transmute that energy into love. It's like, yes, but your energy would be better spent with someone who reciprocates and actually does the fucking work. Like those types of people, you get maybe two chances with me. And if you're not coming with me, Godspeed. I wish you so much light and love, but you don't get to be in my fucking energy because I do not have time for that. So, yes, so if you identify as an empath, I am really, really harsh on this with fierce compassion and love. I will not let any single one of my clients use that as an excuse because every single one of us, like I said, there's this lie that you're special because you're an empath. No, that is very low, basic intuition. It's like if you are really good at that, great. Get the fuck up, train your intuition, and work with the rest of us. You can't hide away in the world. If you want, fine if you want to, but if you're empathetic, great, amazing. welcome to the club. Train your intuition, create the conditions within yourself, start having the discernment to be around people who reciprocate with you, and join the rest of us in the collective where we are healing the world and not hiding away from it. Got me on my soapbox a little bit on that one, but yes, the amount of people I've had who've just been like, I'm just such an empath. And I'm like, all right, great. So everyone's empathetic. Train that, right? Like train it. Like use it to like that is a privilege. And I just think that if we are privileged, I'm a brown. It's obvious I'm brown, right? So like, there's certain privileges that I just don't have. Like I don't have white privilege, right? My husband's white. Is after 15 years being together, he's starting to understand what white privilege looks like. Because it's too hard for me to explain it to people who don't have it. But I have other privileges. I have economic privilege. I have educational privilege, right? And those are the privileges that I can use. I have internet. Do you know what I can do? This is why I'm on a podcast with you. Like I can get on a podcast with you and I can talk about these things, about how we can use our privilege to heal the whole world. So yeah, I mean, like this is exactly what you're talking about with your work, right? This is energetics. Like this is the stuff where I think pioneering healing is going. It's not because we know so much, right? We have clean water. Like, sure, you can poop in a cup. You're sure that that all has its place. But once that is done and you are still sick and you still can't leave your house because the world is too hard for you, like, you got to get the fuck up and change something, right? You got to own the shit that, hey, the world is fucked up. I have a part to play in that. And what can I do? It is not what you think it is. People think it's giving money and marching and things. It's not. It is creating the conditions within yourself. Where can I give myself more love? Where can I cut these parasitic people out? Oh my God, that man on television, he is so angry. All right, cool. If that anger exists in the world, it exists in me. Where am I angry? Where am I angry with myself? How can I create those conditions? How can I be less of what I see in the world and more of what I want to see in the world, you know?
I love that last line. Yeah. Taking back that power. I love that. And I feel like we could chat for like another
Yeah.
easily about this stuff, but I would love people to know if people wanted to connect with you, find more about what you do, where can they connect with you?
Well, my new book, The Condition Cure, is all about this, about how do we create, the cure for the conditions, talking about the conditions we have being the gateway into, the conditions we have to make within ourselves to heal. So that's probably the best way and the easiest way to get into my work is to sign. It's a free ebook. You can put your little email address in. It'll be sent straight to you, and that's the easiest way to start interacting and start. And it's got a beautiful meditation in there as well and a guided practice and the whole thing, of what is the condition cure. And you can use that practice on yourself to start creating the conditions within yourself. So, yeah, I mean, it really is like my mission would be to abolish colonialism, but I don't know if I'm actually going to achieve that. But like the idea behind like, I want every single person to understand what power they actually have. They are not victims to what they think they are, but every single piece of information we consume is trying to tell you that you are, right? They're just like everything is looking for an outside thing. Ah, right, the magnesium will save me, soursop will save me, this doctor will save me. Do you know what? We're looking for a hero when we are our own heroes. We're our own gurus. And so that book is really about how you can start being your own savior, your own cure.
Mm, so powerful. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here. I really
Oh,
appreciate your time and us chatting and sharing your wisdom with us all. Definitely go check out that book. It will be live by the time that this podcast goes live. And yes, thank you again for being here.
you're so welcome.
I will catch you guys on the next show.